It's the 23rd of July 2022, and sadly, today my upload is with regard to repeat offenders in my proximity that are not observing basics in this entire charade. So there's a matter of unsafety being caused in society when people are resorting to base behaviours and basically disrespecting the principles that uphold and that are pretty new to us all. There's a lot of new legislation that's come about, as I keep reiterating, as a consequence of my work in 2018, which I had been preparing for a few years, good few years. And that humanitarian work is being disrespected by people that are new to this community and that are still causing disharmony and disruption and disrespect. So there are individuals not looking after their mental health, and that concerns me. The issue of people presenting a poor example to young people that are very open to suggestion, very easily influenced. I think it's really important for professionals to set a really good example to young people. Young people have high standards for the future, and unfortunately there are adults that are bringing down those standards when they think they're imposing upon a person like this. I live on my own, and there are individuals not observing the law, they're breaking the law, they're in my proximity where they shouldn't be. They've been of defamation and libel. They've resorted to very poor tactics that any smart young person would be very, very conscientious about turning a blind eye to. So the impressionable young people out there are receiving negative messages from these circumstances that I'm tolerating. As a teacher who's been experiencing the most vile violations, as well as creative intellectual theft as well, the issue of defamation is quite serious that's going on, and the issue of repeat offenders in my proximity, I can't reiterate it enough. When people have to resort to false reporting, it really puts a lot of people in jeopardy, at risk, with regard to professionalism and credibility. So there are individuals wearing new masks, new faces, and they're still causing the same problem. So they haven't learned from the past. This actor and stage charade in this town is gone beyond embarrassing now, since this vendetta commenced against me in 2015, and this is a repeat cycle that originally commenced in 2006, and I'm still being imposed upon. So you usually hear about children and bullying, but in this circumstance, there are adults that are really overstepping the line and resorting to really childish behaviours I'm really concerned about. So this is for any sociological minded individuals out there, any intelligent young people, all intelligent young people out there. As a teacher, I'm speaking to the youth, that there are adults setting a bad example, and I hope that you're not impressionable and that you're not open to suggestion, and that you have a discerning mind, and that you are able to adhere to good practice and integrity, etc. Unlike the individuals that are imposing upon my parameters, my proximity, etc., my property. Even for the young girls out there today, women's rights matter as well. We give birth, we give life, we sustain and we maintain and we uphold. And any women that are contravening those principles, I'm concerned for you and for the example you're setting to young women. So the mental health practitioners that have been trespassing on my property since 2016, 2017, and that have obstructed the procedural course of this matter. I'm hoping you might have a bit of dignity at this stage of the day. It's getting a little bit embarrassing. I'm a little bit tired of tolerating unprofessional conduct. I'm tired of medical negligence still at play, and the exploitation that I've tolerated. So those people that have been of poor developments and that have been damaging nature, wildlife, etc. I really hope everyone's going to uphold their standards with regard to the extent of liability that they've caused in the casualties and repercussions in their bad practices and developments that have been unstandardized, unlawful, and not without or not with a shred of consensuality. I'm still tolerating very serious violations, bodily integrity violations, and the constitutional wrongdoings. The democracy is being disrespected, and that gives me awful displeasure to have to share. It's a sad sign of the times when people can't just live their own lives and can't mind their own homes and their own children and enjoy their own wealth. But in this instance, they've stolen from me not only my profession, my child. I gave birth in 2015. My child is from my care unlawfully. That's very dangerous, for what has happened in this community. Children's lives have been affected because of the liabilities that have caused this disruption and that have disrespected the legislation that came about as a consequence of my humanitarian work in 2018. So there are people not doing their jobs properly and not understanding parameters, and that's when people are stepping over the line. That's quite dangerous, not only in personal boundaries but in my farm holdings as well. As I've said, there's been predators for property thinking they're going to walk onto my homesteads without caring a cent or without any sense about what they're stepping onto. It's quite serious what I'm tolerating. So those that don't know how to respect boundaries and that have already been of blasphemy and so on and so forth, I really hope that there are sensible people out there that would not be supporting a very unworthy, a very unsafe initiative. It's mercurial, and some people think that's smart, dog eat dog world, to be unpolitically correct. But unfortunately, these days there's a bit more expected from what has been learned from the past and the misdemeanors of the past. So it's not so easy to continue repeating the cycle of misdemeanor, especially if there haven't been lessons learned. So those that think this is a easy meal or an easy ride or a walk in the park, to be all cliche about it, I hope they know the cost of the damages they've already incurred for not upholding their professional integrity. And those repeat offenders that don't know what the law says about circumstances pertaining to this person, then I hope that they might just brief themselves to save themselves any more disgrace or embarrassment or any more risk. It's quite dangerous disrespecting any human being. And it's even more dangerous when there's been bodily integrity violations and medical negligence and financial exploitation. So as I live on my own, the individuals that don't have contact with me, that don't have interaction with me, don't have communication with me, that are subject to false reporting tactics, I hope there's sensible people out there that wouldn't risk their families with bad faith practices or bad procedures that haven't proven to be quite successful already so far. Financial fraud and theft I've experienced is quite dangerous, and you know what they say about living off other people's wealth, etc. It's really sad sign of the times. It's really sad. And as for the Department of Justice and the Criminal Justice Act that came about as a consequence of my 2018 work, and the other little bits of legislation as well as a consequence of my humanitarian work, I hope the Department of Justice knows its obligations. It's 2022 and my child's missing from my care since 2017. So any practitioners in my proximity that are breaking the law and stalking me, I would hope they'd mind their mental health.